Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well and hope you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me okay. So we have Kuro. This is Miran. Hello, Kuro. And don't forget to let me know age, gender, where you guys tuning in from. And we have Aman. To say, Miran, how you doing? And he has written a bunch of stuff. Final days of college, and you're sad that it's getting over. Coming to an end in 6 months. 6 months, still a long way to go. What are you talking about? Yeah, you should enjoy every day. All right, it's all normal feelings. And T, again, guys. Oh, there you go. Says, hi, Miran. I'm 19 and from London. 19 what? Male, female? What are you? Okay, I'll get back to you once I know everything I need to know. As you guys know, should be age, gender, and where you're tuning in from. So I go to Stuazi. Stuazi says, hi, Meran, male 30, Serbia. Hello? Says, I have a question. Let me see if you guys can hear me first. Let me see if you guys answered me. Can you guys answer me, please, if you will? That you guys can hear me and see me okay? T says, I'm 19 years old, male from London. Okay. And Anthony says, yes, we can hear you. Okay, great. All right, let's go back to T. And T says, hi, Meron, I'm 19 from London. I go through times where my HOCD doesn't bother me as much as times where it is really bad. That's how it is. What do you think HOCD is? It's like diarrhea. Sometimes it's watery, running. It just can't stop the damn thing. Sometimes it feels like, okay, I got it under control. Sometimes it's like, okay, it's not there. I'm good. I can go play football or soccer or whatever. And then sometimes you're in the middle of a play and say, shh, I gotta go home. And shh, it's feels like I gotta go poo. That's exactly what HOCD is. But you guys are so naive that you think just because something shows up in the screen of your head, oh my God, my head, my brain, that's me, that's deity, that's my God, that's my leader, that's what it says, that's my intelligence. It's all bullshit. your, your brain is an organ. I don't understand. Like, I have blood pressure, and I know that the reason it's not uh, being as it always was, even though I've lived healthy, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any drugs, I exercise all my life, and I've been an athlete all my life, and I eat proper, I don't eat junk, yet I've got blood pressure. So why? Because the kidney is not doing its job as it's supposed to. It's an organ, malfunctions. Now I gotta find herbs or whatever, and I hate these medicines because they have their own side effects, but I have no choice. I have to take it sometimes. So, what I'm trying to get at is that you have different organs, and each organ can malfunction or can remain healthy. When it's healthy, everything's great. When it's malfunctioning, you recognize and you find the problem and try to solve it rather than say, oh, my kidney is not working, so that's me. No, it's your kidney. You don't want to have blood pressure. It's your kidney that is malfunctioning. You don't want to have HOCD. It's your brain that is malfunctioning. So you need to understand that just as the kidney is not you, the liver is not you, intestine is not you, your brain is not you. Therefore, it malfunctions, and I got to deal with the malfunction, help it to come back to heal, help it to come back to health, help it to come back to its default setting. Instead of thinking, oh, it's no different than thinking television is your center for education all the time in all its program. So no matter what shows up on the screen, I have to believe it. No, it just happens to be in your room. happens to be on the screen. But what's on the screen, it's got so much shit in it that you got to be able to tell the difference. You make choices and vetoes on the channel and the program, not to believe everything that shows up. Same thing with your brain. It's a television station. It comes up with all kind of programs that you've got nothing to do with it and no interest. You got to change the channel. Sometimes you can't. The remote is not there, it just stays there. So just don't pay attention to the goddamn thing. Read a book, do some other things. That can be in the background. But as long as you understand that is not you and that is not your choice, then you veto it and you pay attention to whatever else you can pay attention until it runs out of battery. It shuts off. The electricity shuts off. The program ends. It runs its course. In the meantime, help your brain to learn new proper habits that is designed for your inclination, your programming, your gender, your preference, your choice. Rather than believing whatever it says, oh, I must not be attracted anymore. I must be something else now. And then what are you going to do? Next time is going to tell you you're something else. Because this is not limited to heterosexuals, HOCD. It hits homosexuals, heterosexual, whatever you are, it hits you as if you're not what you are, what you've always been and what you want to be. So it's just a malfunction and a disorder in every human being, regardless of their gender. So don't think it's giving you any knowledge that you didn't know. Oh, I must have been this all my life. No. You've been gay all your life, then it's hitting you with the HOCD, hitting you with that you're heterosexual. You've been heterosexual all your life, that's your preference, it's going to hit you with opposite of what you're, that you're gay. Neither one is you. Is the brain malfunctioning, giving you shit. And you just have to teach you the lesson by, what happens when someone keeps talking and you respond and you enter in the conversation, but you see that this person doesn't get it and it's not in line with your values. It's not, you don't have things in common. You're not interested in that conversation. What do? Keeps yapping, yapping, yapping. You stop responding. When you don't respond, eventually that person yaps less because there's nothing coming back, eventually moves on and shuts up because there is no reciprocation. That reciprocation is the energy you give to the brain's topic when it spits something out. The way you deal with this, the way that Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Janweiner, they all have taught us. You try to recognize what it is. Oh, that's intrusive thought. That's not me. That's HOCD. That's not me. You recognized it. You labeled it to what it is. And you focus on what it is that your choice is and your preference is and your values are. You keep doing that. If that does that a million times, you do the same thing a million times. Until through neuroplasticity, it learns that engagement is not there. Like the person that you don't pay attention to eventually reduces his rhetorics and discussions and questions and shuts down and disappears. And if it ever comes back again you put the same treatment and again shuts down and goes away. Same thing with the brain. So as long as you constantly give value and attention and importance and credit to what the hell somebody says or what your brain suggests, then you constantly encourage the brain to keep becoming better at giving bullshit and conjuring up with nonsense that is not your choice. So, says, I have known in my guts this isn't me at all for the past 2 years. Okay, good. Says, but my brain is not allowing me to So that's what it is. You think your brain is not allowing you. I'm just saying it's not up to the brain to allow you or not allow you. You live by your choices and your vetoes. You're above the brain. There are aspects of you and the mind that the brain cannot even reach. You are the judge of the brain, not follower of the brain. So it doesn't matter what it says. Don't say it doesn't allow me. So it's just saying it interferes. Like I want to read a book or watch a program, and the music or the construction noise is constantly there, doesn't let me focus on what I'm doing. That's odd. But the construction noise doesn't tell you, I don't allow you to read your book or watch your program. It's just an interruption, intrusive. It's a distraction that you need to close the window or go somewhere else and read your book or watch your program. In other words, you got to recognize that that's a disturbance, not a decree or permission or lack of permission or how it should be. It's brains talking shit, brain sound, distraction, statics. Says I also keep on getting sexual HOCD intrusive thoughts almost every time I want to think nice sexual thoughts about women. Yeah, I know. That's how it works. You see, you seem to think that the problem with most of people, sufferers of HOCD, is that they think that their brain is a logical thing. Like it can understand that since I'm not interested in this, why are you keep talking about it, brain? Please be quiet. You think the brain understands? The brain is going through a disorder, a malfunction. You're expecting the same brain, the same organ that is malfunctioning, which is a malfunctioning brain in this particular juncture. You expect the malfunctioning brain to solve your question and your command and your complaint with a malfunctioning brain, with a malfunctioning quality. It's like saying, I have a measuring apparatus. I have a electrical measuring gadget to measure or calibrate something, some machine, my engine. But I now know that the calibration machine is faulty. It's malfunctioning. So, but I expect the same malfunctioning, faulty gadget, tell me what's wrong with it. It's malfunctioning. It cannot tell you there's anything wrong with it. It thinks the way it thinks. It shows your engine not being the engine that you designed it for. And you believe the malfunctioning gadget that is giving you wrong information about your engine, and you expect the malfunctioning gadget to fix its malfunctioning by telling it, really? Is that what I am? You know it's malfunctioning, but you're asking for assurance from the brain to tell you, yeah, I'm right, I'm wrong, you're right. It's malfunctioning. It cannot see it's wrong. I don't know if I can make it clear. I don't know if I can make you guys understand that you're believing a malfunctioning brain just because it shows whatever it shows in that gadget. Let's say you have a gadget that is not working and you measure some kind of a design, engineering design, and it gives you certain readings that you know it's not correct because the way it's designed is for something else. And then you want this malfunctioning gadget to fix itself by itself while it's malfunctioning. That's what you expect because you keep asking the malfunctioning gadget what is correct. Don't ask it. It's malfunctioning. You know the conclusion, you know what you are, you know the choices. Veto what the malfunctioning gadget says and just keep using the engine for what you've designed it for. That's, I guess, the best I can put it in right now. All right. So Stwazi says, hi, Meran, male 30, Serbia. I have a question. I've gone out with a girl 4 times. It's pretty good. So she's from a different city. All the dates went well. But now, for some reason, she blocked me when I suggested the 5th date. So she's an idiot. Why does it have anything to do with you? Why would you go out with, why would you still want to see a girl who you can see it's not balanced, keeps coming out on a date, and then blocks you rather than, even if she doesn't want to be with you, can talk to you. Say, look, I'm no longer interested. I found somebody else. Somebody else tickles my fancy. You tickled my fancy, but I'm not sure now. I want somebody else. Okay. Adios. Why is it that you guys think it's the end of life when some girl says, I don't want to be with you? You got to take it as a disrespectful behavior when she blocks you and want to have nothing to do with her. Instead, you think the concept of sex have blocked you. No, one girl who happens to have, your favor, like you're interested, doesn't want to be with you or blocked you. That's not the representation of the concept of sexuality or sex. It's just one woman, one girl. You happen to think, excuse my French ladies who are here possibly, this is not a disrespect to any of you. It's just a way to understand the psyche for the men that are here. And sometimes I go the other way and explain some things that is not so complimentary to some men, while not all men are the same and while not all women are the same. But this is about the kind of women that do these sort of things and the kind of men that do that, whatever sort of thing it is that we might be talking about. So I want you to realize that when a woman blocks you or doesn't want to go out with you, you're not being rejected by the whole worldwide community of vagina. You're not being excommunicated by the community, the world, the global vagina society. You have not been pussy excommunicated. You are just having one person who doesn't want to be with you. And that's perfectly okay. Because think about how many women are out there. Just think about it. That you want to have nothing to do with them. Like in a million years, you will not offer what you got dangling in front of you to her. So that's okay. and no problem with that. And it is not. That's okay with her too. But it doesn't have to be a representation of your total worth and value because one vagina didn't want to have anything to do with you. That's her right. That's her taste. Perfectly fine. The question is, why would you want to go out with a girl who doesn't want to go out with you? Why would you think that this girl is representation of the mentality and the opinion of all women out there about you? Why one girl affects you as if the whole entire world of women have rejected you? Why, when one girl doesn't want to be with you, you consider it as a rejection rather than difference in taste? And she has the right to choose whoever she wants. And if that happens, that means that's a cue for you that you cannot be interested, should not be interested in a woman who's not interested in you. If you turn it around, and you will disqualify her rather than thinking that I've been disqualified by some woman. No. Because one of the first criterias for you to want to be with some woman is that she likes you and she want to be with you. If she doesn't, that's a deal breaker. So as soon as a woman breaks up with you or decides not to communicate with you, to you, that's the end of it. That's how you should treat it. That's my cue that she's no longer qualified. Why? Because she broke up with me. Why? Because she decided against this relationship. Why? Because she preferred somebody that I consider everybody else less than me. So if she prefers somebody that is not me, that means it's less than me, in my opinion. And if she prefers somebody that is less than me, then she doesn't deserve me. Simple. That's the confidence level that you should have. And that's the truth. Because the reason that you are bothered that she blocked you, because you see women as food. In million years ago, which there was no dating or whatnot, there were certain necessities in life. Food, that you had to hunt for it. And sex, procreation, women, that was an instinct interest. Like food was very important for our livelihood, our survival, intimacy, sex, love. So when you would go for a hunt and you would miss the target by throwing your spear and you wouldn't hit the animal to get it and cook it and eat it for you and your family or loved ones or a clan or village or whatever, you would be anxious. Oh my God, I lost a survival necessity because I couldn't get that hunt. Now, we felt the same way about a woman. If there was an opportunity a million years ago to be with this woman and somehow she was taken away by, I don't know, other men or some disaster, natural disaster, or somehow she ran away or I didn't have a chance to, I don't know, get to know her or however the situation was a million years ago, you feel anxious as if a food, something that is equally as important for your survival, women, is left, you become very agitated. That same feeling is still here when a woman says no to you. You feel like I missed the hunt for survival. Then you go to panic mode. What should I do to get it back? Instead of thinking, you missed that one, but times have changed. There's supermarkets. You can go there and buy a chicken. In other words, by buy a chicken, I mean there are other choices available. It wasn't just that one hunt that you couldn't catch. So it wasn't just this woman that doesn't want to be with you. There's so many amazing other women out there. They can approach and get to know, and according to the civility and the custom of the day, you get to know them and so on. So many others, so much more. So that's why when someone doesn't want to be with you, that's not a disaster to you. That's a signal for you to have to go for something better. That means it's a signal for you that this road is not going to take you where you want to go. You got to change road to the next one. Your destination is not here, somewhere else. It's just giving you a nudge, giving you a knowledge that this is not the right path to get what you want. This woman, this girl is not interested. So you disqualify that and you go to a different avenue that goes to where you can find what you're looking for. So take it as a cue, not as a devastation. Yeah? All right, I think we exhausted that topic. Aman says, Meran, does unavailability make somebody important every time, or it's just a myth? No. In some ways, it's correct. If the person likes you and you become not so available, then you become a little bit more sweeter to them. But if the person is interested in you and you're overly available, even that interest of her dissipates because she doesn't find you as valuable. Why? Because you're just everywhere for her. You do everything for her. You're always there. You always give her all these emotions and flowers and amazing feelings that you want her to feel she's special. And most women don't have that confidence to think that, oh, so lovely, this person loves me and I get all this attention. Once they get all that attention, they get a big head and they feel, okay, well, this one's giving me the attention. Now I got to get attention from some other people because I want to see what's out there for me. How much attentions can I get? That's the shortcoming of that person. Not bad, your approach, but you got to tone it down too, because some people just can't appreciate it unless they're very confident and they have a very good connection with you and they actually are reciprocating that whole emotion that you're giving out at the same level to you. Then you can continue. But remember, too much of everything can have a opposite effect sometimes. Like honey is amazingly wonderful, yeah? You have more than 1 or 2 spoon, even that is too much. You say, oh, too much. You start, I don't know, drinking tea or something, get the taste out of your mouth. Even though 1 drop of it is like, wow, can I have more? Then you have 2 spoon of it, so can't stand it. Don't talk about honey for me, with me for a few days. Same thing. You give so much attention to your honey, she will not appreciate it because that's inwardly she's not so confident about herself. Your attention gives her confidence. When you give it to her, then she says, how can I be confident? I already have that. I can get confident from the things I don't have. So she starts thinking that the lesser quality out there is going to be more valuable to her because she doesn't have their attention, and the new attention to her is what gives her confidence. So don't be too available. All right. Stuazi says 2 days after the block, I got a message she has problems in her life and she can't be in a relationship or even start one. I was left with more questions. What should I do in this scenario? I just told you, I think, before I read this, you just let her go. It's bullshit what she's saying. Simple. Obviously, she doesn't even have the guts to say, I'm not interested in you. I want something else. And you say, well, okay, good luck. Bye-bye. Instead of saying, no, take me. I'm really good. Don't do that. Ever. For anyone. All right. I'm sorry. I had to get those couple of ants on the table. Anthony says, I have a series of questions, Mehran. I hope you are doing well. Anthony, you're killing me. You have a series of questions. You've been having a series of questions since we last talked. I got to get my ugly stick and beat you on the head. Maybe that'll get you synchronize your brain. Anthony says, I was looking at a girl with a manly feature. Yeah, I saw it and I responded to you. And I kept on looking. This made me very anxious, but I still feel attracted to her. Does it mean anything? No. Why should it mean anything? Many girls are fit, strong, and in fact, when you see a fit and a strong girl, I like it because it means to me that she's taking care of herself. She's conscious about life and health, and she's capable of lifting something rather than, it's like a 2 pound thing. And can you lift this? You want some strong woman to some level. But the main part that I want you to focus, as I explained, also send it to you as a comment, is that it means nothing. Why? Because your awareness is what makes you be attracted to someone, not your brain. Your brain tells you, oh, she's manly, so, or she's got manly features, so maybe you like this. You're liking her because she looks more like I don't know, your own gender and all that shit that the brain plays in the HOCD. Instead, the fact is, you are attracted to her because your awareness knows that she's got a vagina. So your awareness doesn't care how she looks like. Your awareness knows she's a female. And that's what you're built to like. So a heterosexual male goes after a female, and as long as your awareness, not the brain, awareness, you know it's a female, it's got a vagina, you're attracted to her. It doesn't matter how she looks like. She could be looking like Sharon Stone, or she could be looking like, I don't know, something that is not looking as refined as Sharon Stone or Raquel Welch or I don't know, what are these other beautiful women? So you stop listening to your brain, that I've been saying since God knows when we started talking, and then you'll be fine. But you're taking your cues from a malfunctioning gadget, and you expect those cues to lead you to the destination that you want to go. It won't. The compass that you're relying on is broken. So you rely on stars and sunshine and the shade, not the compass. You rely on your awareness and your choices and vetoes, not on what the brain, malfunctioning OCD brain, is telling you. Because that brain can't tell you shit, because it has its own problems of malfunctioning. And you're expecting a malfunctioning brain to show you the right direction to your questions. The fucking thing is malfunctioning. It's like a gadget that is not working, and you expect it to tell you exactly the torque and the revolution of the number of the engine that is on. It won't. It give you the wrong number. And you want to fix the engine based on the information that this malfunctioning gadget gives you, telling you that the engine is malfunctioning. The engine is wrong. No, you're wrong. The gadget is wrong, cannot see it clear. So you put the gadget away, you rely on what you have designed the engine. You rely on your awareness, and you forget about the rhetorics of the brain. You like that girl. Why? Because it's a girl. There's so many handsome men who actually like some girls that, to some of our ideas, they're ugly. Because relationship takes place on certain things that you like about the girl. And the fact that she's a girl, that's your first motivation. The rest of it is, depending on what your mood is. Some days you may like a more refined looking girl. Someday you want a little bit of a kind of a tougher looking girl. It has no bearing on who you are. It's like saying, today I wanted to eat this food, and tomorrow, the next day, I want to eat another food. Does that mean anything? No, just you like food, all kinds of it. So you like women, all kind of it. I like women, all kinds of it. I'm gonna say, oh, for me to be this, I have to have this kind of a. I have to like this kind of a woman. No, it's a woman. You like it. You know. I don't mean this to be a comparable or something disrespectful to women at all. But if somebody asks me, like, what animal is your favorite, one would be horses. So I don't care if it's a Hanoverian, Trakehner, Torqueman, Achalteke, a, a mixture of it's a horse. I love it. I want it. So it's a woman. Who cares what she looks like? It's about the connection I have with her consciousness. It's about what part of her turns me on. So because my awareness is a female, so that I'm attracted to that. So that's it. The rest of it is your brain messing with you, which you should ignore. Simple. All right. Going to yeah, Anthony, all that you're saying HOCD and you feel like you're lying to yourself, all that is HOCD. Because HOCD is called doubting disease. I mean, OCD in general, it's a doubting disease. So no matter what, you doubt. So stop, as I said, stop interpreting what brain says. Understand the brain is wacko. So put that aside and focus on living based on your vetoes and choices, not what the brain suggests, images, ideas, and thoughts. All right. Anthony says basically, why does it feel like I don't want to let go of HOCD? Because you think you have to come to a conclusion, you have to defeat something that is attacking you. Otherwise, you haven't won and you're not righteous. You think you're a coward if you don't take it head on. Come on. What? What do you mean? You want to fight with it rather than understanding it's a crazy person. Let it go. You're trying to logically convince a crazy person to understand a certain philosophical point of view, or certain logical point of view, certain mechanical differences, certain um, electrical formula, certain things that it's a crazy person cannot understand. But you say, if I don't, that means I'm not really good at what I can do and what I know. I have to convince. You don't have to convince an idiot so you can prove that you are knowledgeable or you're right. You move on from the idiot, then that means you can have a balanced life. You think HOCD should be defeated. That's your problem. You should accept that HOCD is a malfunction of the brain and can exist like every other shit that exists in the world, and we don't approve of it. But it's there, and we accept that, okay, it can exist. But I just steer my wheels toward the direction that I fancy, toward the direction that is suitable for me. I don't have to just think that, oh, I have to do something about it. No, I accept that they can exist. I accept that HOCD is part of the malfunctions that exist, and millions and millions and billion people have it one way or the other, one type or another of OCD subsets, which HOCD is one. But you want to come to a conclusion. There is no conclusion in life. You don't need a conclusion. You need choices and vetoes. That's all. But you want some entity to come and say, no, you're right, you're this, you're that, as if all things from about you must come from above and outside of you to tell you this or that. That's why you're accepting or bamboozled by what the brain says, because it's outside of you. And you say, if the brain says, then it must be more credible than what I know and what I say. That's bullshit. You should not take your clues from the brain. You should understand the brain malfunctioning. And I need to just live my life based on my vetoes and choices, not what brain conjures up. That steers you wrong. A crazy person steers you wrong. When the brain is malfunctioning and is in OCD glitch, is steering you wrong. But instead of seeing that, you're trying to come to a conclusion of, why is it not convinced that it's wrong? I want the brain to tell me and confess that it's wrong. I want it to logically show me why it's wrong. You're expecting a malfunctioning brain to give you reasons why it's malfunctioning and that why it's you're right. The goddamn thing is malfunctioning. It's like you want the crazy person to say, I'm crazy. Yes, you're right. I'm crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't even know it's crazy, but you do. So treat it as one. Move on. Pat Santos, 27, New York, OCD images in my brain of anything. Yeah, okay. Join the club. Religion 123 says, hello, I no longer experience HOCD since following your method. Okay, delighted to hear that. Thank you, he says. But I still don't have that strong attraction for women. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Because the imprint of what you have been dealing with through neuroplasticity for so long that the brain was suggesting you this and you were falling into it and mulling over it and thinking about it and challenged by it and all that, constantly made you to become really good at that concept of discussion. So the imprint of it, even though now you're understood it and away from it, but the echo of it is still there, that makes you feel like, oh, I should give it some kind of importance. No, it's just the imprint. Wait, it will dissipate. You know, it's like you're in front of a pond and you throw a big rock into it. It splashes, and then all the waves that it creates, constantly these waves are generated, maybe for 20 minutes, and eventually keeps moving, because it moved a body of water and there's lots of water. So one movement of it takes a long time for this body of water to stop moving. So the imprints of all these motions that this rock created when it fell into the pond, it's going to continue even though when the rock itself has gone way down below and has been engulfed by the ocean and it's disappeared and doesn't have any effect on the ocean anymore. It doesn't have any effect, but the effect that it created when it fell into it, it continues for a while as an echo until eventually the events of life and other things that is happening in the ocean takes the attention of the ocean and starts affecting the movements and the moods of the waves in the ocean. And these initial movements created by the rock falling into it dissipates completely. And if it ever shows up, you know it's exactly the echo of that, and it's nothing real. Yeah. So I hope that gives you a little bit of a better perspective of neuroplasticity's role in both ways of constantly thinking about the concept of OCD or HOCD also causes you become better and constantly thinking about it and being affected by it through neuroplasticity, because you constantly spend time on it. You become good at something that you spend so much time on it. It's like a practicing to have this malfunction. You become better at malfunctioning. But once you adopt a certain techniques and start getting over it, and you do that over and over for a long time, then neuroplasticity works for you, and you become really good at doing what it is that dissipates and deals with HOCD by the way you treat the thoughts and appearance of these suggestions and ideas and images or whatever it is. So it kind of helps the brain to rewire itself through neuroplasticity according to your reaction and treatments of these thoughts. And then you become good at that. So since you have dealt with HOCD for a while, you had become good at constantly in that shit. And now it's time to continue your way. So the old way of paying attention to HOCD, which had created neuroplasticity and you became good at paying attention to HOCD shit, will be not used. And the bridges that was made between synaptic neurons to make you really good at paying attention to these nonsense will eventually be felt dormant. And then glial cells will go and mark it with the protein C1q. And then microglial cells will go and find the marks and destroy those bridges between those two synaptic neurons that were used to make you really good at paying attention to HOCD bullshit. And then eventually you don't have those connections, and you would be less and less attention to HOCD shit and dissipates. And in the place of it, it's going to be all the ways that you've been practicing to rewire and help the brain to back to health and its default programming and function. And that becomes the new way that neuroplasticity is going to be helping you to strengthen bridges between those synaptic neurons. All right. Hope that would be helpful. And says, so I still don't have strong attraction for one. Okay. I used to have, well, you will. As I mentioned, you will. It just needs time to dissipate and get all these. It's like, again, it's like you're looking at the outside scenery and every day is beautiful scenery, ocean, trees, sunlight, and everything is beautiful. But then when so much rain or storm comes and eventually the windows get messy and debris on them and gunk and stuff, and I don't know, flies and things have hit on it, and just it doesn't let you see through clearly. And then you figure out, oh, hey, everything is okay. It's just that the window is dirty. I got to clean the window. That's going to take a while to clean all those gook and shit and dust and debris out of the window. It's a big window. So you continue cleaning, and eventually, everything has always been there. It's just the distraction and the debris and the dirt on the window doesn't let you see it. They haven't gone anywhere. So your attraction to girls haven't gone anywhere. It's just that you've been distracted and it's been covering your field of vision. And that's why you've been distracted from what your natural senses are. And then eventually all those will recover because it's always been there. It just clears out the debris and the statics away, and it becomes apparent that it's always been there, and you'll be fine. No, you don't need to do that. I don't think so. Um, Column says, "Hi, Meran, 27-year-old from England." Says, whenever the thought happens, it's like it's me doing it on purpose, and I can't stand it. No, because that's the only screen that you're seeing the thoughts, and because you see it, you think you're making it. No, you just don't have enough willpower to look at the scenery that you want to look at, but as a natural reaction to whatever moves, we also look at that. Distracts us from what we want to look at. It doesn't mean that I want that to be happening over there. That's why I'm looking at it. No, it's because I want my direction and my choices to continue, but I have a distraction. And naturally, my amygdala, which is supposedly to alert me from something extraordinary, something other than what I choose is happening for my protection, takes my attention there to see what's going on. And when it does, I'm there to find out, because the nature of a human being, unfortunately, is to find out why is it there, inquisitive, and I got to figure out the conclusion of it. What's the purpose of it? What do you mean? You're attacking my being, my way of being. So it's a survival and protection mechanism that makes you pay attention to that, not because you're causing it. You just want to get to the bottom of what the hell is it? You know, all the rest of it. No, religion 1, 2, 3. You haven't. Uh, my explanation should be good enough for you at the moment. You haven't lost it. It's just, as I mentioned, it's being covered by the debris and fog and statics. So continue what you've been doing, and then stay away from things that you should stay away to help the brain to rewire itself by you helping it reprogram it. Sam Prince says, good to see you. Hello, Sam. Remind me, Sam, please, if you will, age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Religion 1, 2, 3. I understand what you're saying. These things is so needs to be discussed elaborately and from roots. There's so many things I have to bring to your attention in order for you to digest and see it clear. We can't really do it here because this turns out to be a one-on-one, and I don't want it to be one-on-one. It's for everybody who's here to ask a question or two. So you guys know that I have a site, mindthatseekstruth.com, mindthatseekstruth.com, www.mindthatseekstruth.com. You can go here, make an appointment for a Skype consultation, and we'll explore what's concerning you one on one on Skype. For new clients, if you register for 1 hour, I will throw somewhere between 30 minutes to 60 minutes extra for the first session. So we'll have enough time to discuss the background and everything and go through it without rush. But here, as you can see, there's lots of questions that you guys have, which finally I have tried to answer all of them, but they're very elaborate. If I shorten it, then you will miss the point. It won't be that effective. So for that reason, the ones who still want to discuss further, religion 123, you include it, and everybody else who feels they need to, you can go and make an appointment, and then we'll discuss what's concerning you one on one on Skype. Religions 123 says, wow, what you just told me about neuroplasticity made me feel so much better. Thank you. You're quite welcome. You just have to rely on the research of experts such as Dr. Schwartz, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Owen, Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Leibet. These are all brilliant researchers, psychologists, psychotherapists, neuroscientists, neurosurgeons, who have not just been able to prove things with modern science, they have also affirmed the philosophical point of view and discussion of Aristotle from 1,000 years ago. But now neuroscience and modern science have, beyond the shadow of the doubt, proven proven that there are aspects of mind and you that the brain cannot even reach. So brain is not your protector, brain is not your leader, brain is not your intellect. Brain is an organ. You're not the brain, and brain is not you. So whatever shit the brain tells you, you need to rely on the discoveries and scientific discoveries, philosophical understanding of inward movement of the psyche, to understand that these are all bullshit, and then help to rewire yourself. It's not myth, it's all science, and now modern science have proven what's been already known since 1,000 years ago in the minds of the people who had connections with the beyond the limits of the brain involvements of what's out there that makes us who we are and creates our awareness. And user 22 says, hello Meran, Christoph here. Hello Christoph, wie geht's heute dir? And Sam says, United States, straight man 17. Aha. Been through HOCD. Yeah, I read your stuff. Good for you. Good for you the way you handle it. Excellent. So you guys know that on the channel we have over 3,000 videos, many thousand of it, well, few thousand of it, well, at least 2,000 of it, 2,000 or 2,500 of it is regarding movement of the psyche in regards to relationships, breakups, devastations, and how to understand the movement of your psyche, thoughts, consciousness, fear, desire, ego, and the relationship between them all. And over 500, if not more, videos we have on OCD subsets, specifically HOCD. And there are two playlists that have very important and interesting discussions on interpretation of the thoughts that shows up in your head in regards to HOCD. The playlist called Transient Thoughts, Intrusive Thoughts, OCD, HOCD, Negative Thoughts. That's the one talks about interpretation of thoughts. And the other one that doesn't talk about interpretation of thoughts, but talks about and proves beyond the shadow of the doubt, proves that you're not the brain and brain is not you. And that's the focus of those videos on that playlist. And that playlist is called Intrusive OCD HOCD short videos. Mind you, none of them are short, other than one or two of them. but but there are lots of more titles that is not included in these playlists. But all you have to do is to just search for the word HOCD on my channel, and you'll have hundreds. And then you can look at the titles and see which title is more seemingly fitting your questions or concerns. You can watch that. And anything extra, you can go on my site, mind@6truth.com, as I put it right here. You can make an appointment, so we'll explore what's concerning you further, one-on-one on Skype. This video that I'm going to put it up here for you guys, it's something I highly recommend to everyone who wants to have a little bit more insight, and not just philosophically, both philosophically and scientifically through neuroscience and neurosurgery, experiments of Dr. Speary, Dr. Penfield, Dr. Owens, Dr. Libet. These are collections that Dr. Egnar, the report that Dr. Egnar has put together, and I used that report and enhanced it a little bit more with different facts and experiences and discussions. And I put in here for your, it's a long video, but packs lots of information. If you're patient to go through, um, you know, my talks, and sometimes long-winded, but very necessary, because we need all that information. So here it is, the link for that video that I highly recommend for everyone to watch. And of course, there's hundreds of other videos that I've dedicated my time and research in order to provide for you guys, to help you to understand your own psyche better, and to be able to help yourself and become the mechanic of your own machine, rather than having to rely on this and that and ask this and ask that. You can become the mechanic of your own machine if you understand the components that makes that machine move and work, and how it functions and malfunctions. Don't forget that word. Guiding word says engaging next week. Engaging. Oh, there's another one here. This guiding word says, Dear Mehran, male 24, Netherlands. Hello. Says, again, the girl that left me apparently because of her mother. I just found out that she was back with her ex, and that she's now, after 3 months, back together. Yeah, you told me that last time. Why are you still on that subject? The hell with her. Move on with your life. Well, you think she's the only out there? What? You're Netherlands, the land of beautiful women. What's wrong with you? I'm going to get my ugly stick and beat the crap out of your head. Put your helmet on. I don't want to break your head. and and it says, engaging next week. I want to thank you for advice and warnings. I feel lucky that I left this mess after 1.5 with my ex. I want to thank you for your time. Yeah, my pleasure. Just promote the channel. That's thank you. Guiding word says, oh, I love it when you give me the ugly stick. Well, you keep talking shit like that, you're gonna get the ugly stick 24/7. You guys gotta shake your head a little bit about the fact that you're being bamboozled by your own fucking brain. Isn't that like the first rule for us to know what our soldiers are like? And if they're not behaving, just kick the shit out of them and throw them out. If your brain is malfunctioning, you recognize it rather than saying, no, this brain has always been good, so it can't be malfunctioning. No, it can't. Your ass malfunctions and you have diarrhea. So what does that mean? Oh, it's always been diarrhea that this was meant to function as a diarrhea? No, it's going bonkers. So help it out. The brain, the same, no different than the intestine. It's another organ. It fucks up. It's fucking up. And for whatever reason is happening, there's so much of it, so millions of it, you know, just understand that you're not alone. There are billions of people going through OCD. It's a malfunction of the brain. We didn't have this brain 40,000 years ago. We had no fucking OCD, HOCD, or any other shit OCD before 40,000 years ago. Why? Because we didn't have this fucking brain that we have today. We had stem brain. We used and lived for millions of years. Reptilian brain, stem brain, everything automatic, instinctive, no thinking ability, no speaking ability. Because thoughts are the roots of all problems. Thought seeds some idea in the brain, and the brain goes at it with wacko attitude. But when there's no thought ability to be produced, like 40,000 years ago, we didn't have this brain with capability of thinking or speaking. We were living in paradise. We were relaxed. We were fine. And everything was instinctive like animals. We would run, we would hunt, we would sleep, we had sex. We had no thoughts of any kind of intrusive thoughts or otherwise. So why is it that we have problems when we didn't have for a million? Is because we are now capable of thinking. And when the brain malfunctions and it makes thoughts, that's its job, all kinds, and we get fooled to think these thoughts are related to me rather than thinking, this is the job of the fucking brain. It makes thoughts, but none of them are related to me. None of them are um, uh, relevant to me. It just makes thoughts. But you think everything that comes out of this head, it's about you, must mean something. Because we're all looking for some deity from outside, heavenly hand to help us, heal us, gives us ideas. And we are so fucking lazy that we think now this malfunctioning brain is connected to the heaven and bringing messages to things that I don't know anything about. How fucked up are we? That we're even fooled by a fucking brain, an apparatus, an organ. And we think it supersedes our being for a million years and our intellect, which we were living without this brain. So where was the intellect there? If you think the intellect resides in the brain, then where was the intellect that we were using it to live for a million years? So the intellect is outside of the brain. Your brain has nothing to do with your intellect. You always had the intellect when you didn't have the brain. So the brain is not where your intellect is. In fact, in the experiment that Dr. Penfield, a neurosurgeon in Montreal, in I think 1930s or 1960s, he operated over thousands of patients. And in brain, when you go into the brain, you go through the skull. When you operate on the brain has no nerve endings. You don't sense any pain there. So that's why often the patients were awake when he was doing the surgery. And he was able to stimulate part of the brain and get reactions to something, such as stimulating the occipital points of the brain, the back of the brain. And the patient would say, I see some kind of a light, or the eyesight was reacting. or certain other kind of part of the brain, stimulating it, and a limb would move. So the motoring was being stimulated. Or speech center was, they were able to localize speech center to stimulate it, and the patient would say something, like make a sound that was stimulating the brain, the speech center. But they could not localize intellect center. They could not localize political center. They could not localize consciousness center. They could not localize compassion center. They could not localize love center. They could not, there are many things in the brain that they could not localize, including, most important, intellect center. So brain is just an apparatus, an organ that does certain things that is designed to do. But we are duped to have been using it for calculating, figuring out things in our life. So we've been duped to think that the brain is beyond us, the intellect. And we think then we got to follow the brain. Not correct. You can see in that is part of that video that I just put the link up there for you. So when you educate yourself about that, you will see that all the problems started when we were given this blessed apparatus, which gives us lots of opportunities and facilitates lots of things, learning, inventing, and all these other good things that the brain can do for us. But it's a tool. But it also has lots of problems. It brings lots of misunderstanding, confusion, because it's an organ and it malfunctions. So brain is just an apparatus that was added to us, and you cannot mix it up with thinking that this is your deity that's beyond you. Still, you will find in that video at Dr. Leibet's experience that you trump the brain. Watch that video. You trump the brain because when the brain supposedly is engaged in some decision makings before the decision is made or at the time of making the decision, the brain has no electromagnetic activities, doesn't even exist when you veto. Where's the veto comes from if everything is made by the brain? Because there is a entity, there is a part of you beyond the brain cannot reach, and it's not even aware of the veto power that it vetoes what the brain suggests. You can see you're far more powerful than the brain. Brain cannot interfere with veto. When you're vetoing something, brain is not even involved. It's not even aware. There is no electromagnetic activities in the brain when you veto it. And Dr. Leibet has proven that. Check out that video. You have to learn to let go belief that the brain is you, you're the brain, and you're supposed to follow the brain, and what the brain says has any truth to it necessarily. Brain's job is to make thoughts. It makes thoughts with all kind of information that seep through your consciousness. Irrelevant to you. Everything that has been out there through internet, television, news, all the bullshit, all the facts, and all the lies, they're there. They happen to be introduced as news or some kind of information. Just like every product and every technology, every lifestyle, every activity, every sport that is out there is out there. But you don't use every one of them. Some are things that it's in line with your values, some food you like, some activities you like, some lifestyle that meets your values, some sport activities, but many other things are irrelevant to you. But they're there. You accept that they exist. Same thing, brain makes all kinds of thoughts and none of them are relevant to you. Just because it's there doesn't mean it's relevant to you. You live by your choices and vetoes. You choose from what food is out there, activities out there, products out there, designs and technologies, things you are interested in, lifestyles. And the same thing, you choose from the thoughts that are there, but it's all of them are irrelevant until you choose them. So you live by your choices and vetoes. And that's what you should remember. You're the boss, not the brain. Brain is not you, you're not the brain. That's a beginning of healing and freedom from your brain, from OCD, from thoughts. Freedom of the brain, from the brain. All right. Anthony says, hopefully, last question I've ever have to ask you, Miran. Bullshit. Because as long as you don't realize OCD is doubting disease and that you're in the glitch of seeking assurances rather than paying attention to anything that I'm saying, you're constantly trying to come to conclusion of every suggestion that the brain makes in order to disqualify that question that showed up in your head, thinking that the more you get conclusions and disqualify and reasons and logically analyze it, the less question will be left. In fact, the more you do this, the more questions may come. So you need to stop analyzing, interpreting, or seeking assurances, seeking conclusions and answers of anything that the brain shows up, because brain makes 80 to 90,000 thoughts a day. You can't be spending your time seeking assurances or diffusing or refuting every one of them through logical discussions. You'll be spending all your day and all your night fussing with the brain bullshit. So the key is, don't respond to the crazy person. The crazy person will stop talking. Live your life with your choices and vetoes, not these things that the brain throws out. And he says, how to stop being conscious of everything I do is manly or not because of HOCD. Stop seeking conclusions. That's your answer. You're trying to interpret and reason and analyze everything in order to come to a conclusion. I am this, I'm not that. I'm saying don't give a fuck what the brain suggests. It suggests you're gay, says, yeah, okay, thanks. That's the end of it. Thinking stops when you either follow a certain calculations and figuring out process for algorithm or for some mathematical equation or whatever it is, that you find the answer and then you say, oh, this is the answer. Then thinking stops. Or when they pose a question, whatever, you just say, okay, let me do the calculation. You do calculation, you can't find the answer. You say, I don't know. Also thinking stops. Whether you find the answer to that equation or question, or you go through a calculation and say, I can't find it, I don't know, thinking stops. But also it stops if before you even start calculation to find an answer to a proposed question or formula or calculation, you just say, without even trying to start it, you say, I don't know, and I don't want to know. Thinking stops. Thinking doesn't go through to find answers because you just said, I don't want to know. Done. Your problem is that everything that the brain throws, you play with it. Instead of saying, somebody throws you a soccer ball, you kick it back. That's the problem. It's going to come back. But if they throw the soccer ball, you let it go out and you just continue walking, they'll have to go get it and they won't throw it back to you because that one is not going to throw the ball back. Brain too, when it suggests something, you simply, I don't want to know. I don't care. I don't know, and I don't want to know. I don't care to know. Thinking stops. So you got to make your choice. You want to spend your life and time looking for conclusions, or you just want to live in an observing manner. Like I observe and go. I'm walking to that area from this point to that point where I want to go, my destination, and I see some shit on the corner. Now I have two options. I either go and see what kind of shit it is, what kind of dog was it, what kind of animal was it, how does it smell, what the animal had eaten, why the shit is here, why is it not cleaned up, why does it stink, why should it be staying away? All these, that's one option. Or you're going and you see a shit there, you keep going. I don't want to know what kind of shit it is. The brain says, don't you want to know what kind of shit, what color it is, what it is, what animal? Oh, I don't want to. I don't want to know. So, fuck you. Shut up. Choices and vetoes will help you to shut the brain off. As long as you say, what? Yes, no, it's not like that. Yes, it is like it. All that argument is what the brain wants. That feeds the brain. Stop that. You starve the brain and it shuts up. So that's the key. Live by observing, not seeking conclusion. There we go. Live your life, choices and vetoes. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 26 minutes and 32 seconds. I hope you all enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. And I look forward to our next live stream. In the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com, making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what concerning you. I'll talk to you soon. But we too, like the iceberg, have 1,000 times bigger powers that is not visible, and we must. Why? Is it something we're rambling on and I expect you to accept it? Or is there actually another power within us? Would you come and help me out? Okay. What I want you to do is put your hands underneath my arms and just lift me up. There we go. Okay, now, that's my physical part, right? Same thing. Again, with that. Just want to see if there's any difference. Go ahead. Now, go ahead. Now, this, go ahead, when you're ready.
Go ahead.
So you see, this is different than what he was doing, and I'm not really doing anything. You convinced?
Yeah.
So are you guys convinced that there is something other than, thank you. Thank you very much.